Hello, Dr. Urban here, and I want to talk to you about a subject which I was reluctant at first to talk about. I read it almost by serendipity, and the phrase is remove bra. Now, I had to tap myself into a state of relaxation or the parasympathetic state to talk about this subject because I'm not sure I'm the one to talk about it, but the conclusions, what I'm about to tell you, are so important that you need to consider what this site has to say. And the site makes a recommendation that you can kind of test drive the recommendation. You know how I like the N of 1. In other words, if it applies to you, maybe it has meaning for you. Well, so what are we talking about? We're talking about remove breast in the context is or are the issues swollen breasts, breast cysts, and bra problems all related. And I would throw in, for that matter, cancer of the breast. This author, his name is Sidney Singer, has published a book as far back as the late 90s called Dress to Kill. It was put down and supposedly refuted by the bra industry and the health profession. But you know how that goes. So he makes a recommendation, but that's not enough to get me onto the subject. What caused me to look at this, because it's found on the site called Green Med Info, and I was curious as to why they'd be even interested in it. So I looked at it and I went, wow, why? Because the incidence of breast cancer in non-constrictive, non-bra wearing societies is the same in men as women. And I go, wow. And then he threw in that cysts are and swollen breasts are a continuum. And the issue has to do with your lymphatic vessels. We know about in the brain how the lymphatic vessels are a low pressure system, kind of a drainage system, how the poisons and the bad stuff get out. Well, there is something like that going on in the lymph system of the breasts. And when they're congested, you get backup and you get pathology because the toxic stuff doesn't get out, or at least that's the supposition. It seems to have a reason for making that point. So you can go, I left a link for you in the description below where you can listen to the discussion. It's worth about 30 plus minutes, and it's worth listening to, I think, for women or men that are concerned about passing the message along. The author, Singer, talks about, Sidney Singer is his name, talks about, he makes 4 recommendations. He says that you should not wear your bra, if you do, bra for over 12 hours. 2, you should not sleep in your bra. 3, there are some new, better conforming bras if you must, and that some of these are actually labeled as Dress to Kill compliant or in accordance with or whatever that is. And then we have the big one is try it for 30 days. Take your bra off and not wear it. Just don't wear it. And then after 30 days, put it back on and you'll see how constrictive it is, because you might be saying to yourself right now, I don't have any problem. Well, do you have indentations? Do you have redness? Those are signs of possible or probable signs of constriction, or certainly ill-fitting at the least. So why don't you take Sidney Singer's suggestion and take your bra off for a month, or at least cut it back if you can't just go braless, and see if you don't feel better. The breasts swell during the menstrual cycle, and so your bra is going to be tighter as your menses comes on. So you kind of get the picture. Again, in the link below, in the description below is a link to that study, and I think it would be worthwhile. And I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm no expert on breast health. I'm no expert on breast treatment, but people are, and there are cultures that just, you know, our bras came into popularity starting in about 1920. It's not a lifetime or a, that's when the culture took it up as a fashion statement. So think about it. Maybe take Sydney Singer's suggestions to heart and let me know.